relatively easy to administer. Population elements are in ordered sequence, at least conceptually. Then first sample element is selected randomly from the first k population elements. Then thereafter sample elements are selected at a constant interval k from the ordered sequence frame. That is k equal to capital N by small n, where here small n is sample size, capital N is population size, k is the size of selection interval. Systematic sampling. The advantage of this method is sample easy to select. A suitable sampling frame can be identified easily. Sample evenly spread over the entire reference population. Disadvantage also that first, the sample may be biased if hidden periodicity in the population coincides with the of selection. Difficult to assess precision of estimate from one survey. Then stratified random sample. In stratified random sample, the population is divided into non-overlapping subpopulation called strata, because when the population is heterogeneous, unequal group, then only we approach stratified random sample. By taking subgroups from each population heterogeneous group, we get homogeneous group. That homogeneous group itself we consider is a separate population. That separate population, each subpopulation is a separate population, that we call it as a strata or stratum. A random sample is selected from each stratum. Potential for reducing sampling error. Proportionate. The percentage of the sample taken from each stratum is proportionate to the percentage that each stratum is within the population. Disproportionate. Proportions of the strata within the sample are different than the proportions of the strata within the population. Finally, since each stratum is treated as an independent population, different sampling approaches can be applied to different strata. Some drawbacks we face when we approach stratified sampling. First, the sampling frame of the entire population has to be prepared separately for each stratum. Second, when examining multiple criteria, stratifying variables may be related to some but not to others, further complicating the design and potentially reducing the utility of the strata. Finally, in some cases, stratified sampling can potentially require a large sample than would other methods. Cluster sampling. Next, cluster sampling. It is an example of two-stage sampling. First stage and a sample of areas is chosen. Second stage, a sample of respondents within those areas is selected. Then population divided into clusters of homogeneous units, usually based on a geographical contiguity. Then sampling units are groups rather than individuals. A sample of such cluster is then selected. All units from the selected clusters are studied. Some advantage of cluster sampling is more convenient for geographically dispersed population. Next, reduced travel cost to contact sample elements, simplified administration of the survey. Unavailability of a sampling frame prohibits using other random sampling methods. Some disadvantage also that statistically less efficient when the cluster elements are similar. Costs and problems of statistical analysis are greater than for simple random sampling. Multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling is a complex form of cluster sampling in which two or more levels of units are embedded one in the other. First stage, random number of districts chosen is in all states. Second, followed by a random number of talukas and villages. The third stage units will be houses. All ultimate units selected at the last step are surveyed. Non-random sampling. We have some non-random sampling, that is convenience sampling, judgment sampling, quota sampling, snowball sampling. Convenience sampling means sample elements are selected for the convenience of the researcher. Judgment sampling. Sample elements are selected by the judgment of the researcher. Sample elements are selected until the quota controls are satisfied. Snowball sampling. Survey subjects are selected based on referrals from other survey respondents. That is what we call it is a snowball sampling. Next, panel sampling. Method of first selecting a group of participants through a random sampling method and then asking that group for the same information again several times over a while. Therefore, each participant is given the same survey or interview at 2 or more time points. Each period of data collection is called a wave. The sampling methodology is often chosen for large-scale or nationwide studies to gauge changes in the population about any number of variables from chronic illness to job stress to weekly food expenditures. Panel sampling can also be used to inform researchers about within-person health changes due to age or help explain changes in continuous dependent variables such as spousal interaction. There have been several proposed methods of analyzing panel sample data, including growth curves. So this is what we discussed with the sampling theory. Thank you.